Pricing is where almost every rental operator leaves money on the table, and I'm not exaggerating. The average operator that I talk to is underpriced by 15 to 30% across their fleet, and they don't know it because their cars are still getting booked. So the bookings feel like validation, but bookings are not validation. Bookings can mean that your price is below the market, and the question is, how far below could they be? In the next 12 minutes, I'm gonna show you how I actually set the daily rates on my fleet and the base rate framework, the seasonal adjustments, the weekend and event premiums that most operators don't run, and the dynamic pricing system that updates rates without me touching them, and the tools I use to manage all of it. By the end of this video, if you apply even half of what I'm going to show you, you'll add real revenue to your business this month without spending a dollar on marketing, without buying another car, and without changing a single thing about your current operation. This is the lowest effort, highest return optimization in the entire rental business. So if you're operating a fleet right now, take some notes. This one's gonna be worth your time. Here is why most operators are underpriced and they don't even realize it. They are in what's called the set it and forget it trap. A lot of operators will run the same price across their market forever. They just set a price. They know their cars are constantly getting booked. And again, that gives them validation. It gives them comfort, and they don't understand that they're probably leaving a lot of money on the table. Here is how you can gather the base rate for your vehicle. And the base rate is the floor. It should not be your target price. In order to really get a good base rate, you need to know the daily fixed costs per car. That includes financing, insurance, registration, maintenance, and any maintenance reserves. Then we've got variable costs per booking. These are gonna include things such as cleaning, fuel, handoff time, labor, fees, and wear and tear. Then you need to determine the minimum daily margin that you require, and you add the 3. That is gonna be your floor pricing. So just because you're booked is not the same as maximizing your profit, and the floor is just the start. So in the next part, we're gonna talk about peak rates and the demand layers. So first is the mental model. This is pricing as a stack and not a single number. Pricing is constantly evolving, and there are many layers to it. The first layer that we're gonna talk about is the weekend premium. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you should lift your typical percent range by at least 10 to 20%. The next layer that we wanna talk about is the seasonal premium. You need to map your year into the peaks, the shoulders, the low buckets, and kind of come up with pricing that fits all of it, right? So now we're stacking layers of pricing. We're talking about weekends, then we're talking about weekends within slow times, and we're talking about weekends within average times, and then we're talking about weekends during busy season. And so we need to really understand what the pricing means, what it means to actually be profitable, to maximize profit. The last thing we wanna do is set that one price, set it and forget it, and then now you're doing weekends the same. You can book your car for the same price on the same, type of weekend during slow season and busy season for the same price. That doesn't make any sense. Another layer that you're gonna have to add, and this is gonna go across all seasons, are event premiums. This is gonna include things like concerts, sports, conventions, wedding season, if that's your area, festivals, all types of stuff, right? Because that's gonna change demand. People fly into town frequently, or people go to a certain place when there's a high demand event. And when that happens, like we have the World Cup, depending when you're watching this video, right? World Cup in the summer, if you're in a city with the World Cup, you need to factor that in, right? To your busy, slow season, weekends, all of that stuff. The fourth layer is the day of week within your season. This is a little bit different than doing the weekend pricing, because the day of the week at a peak season and the day of the week during slow season are completely different things. What happens when you combine all of these different layers together is you're gonna get a compounding effect. This is when all the layers stack, so you get to hit your peak rate, and you actually are maximizing your rate at every single day of the year. The principle here is that rental days are perishable. They're perishable inventory, just like hotels and airlines. If you book a hotel or an airline anytime, it doesn't matter. The pricing is always different, because there's so many factors that are involved, and that's how you need to treat your car rental business. But I'm gonna dedicate essentially a whole section to just event pricing, because this is the highest leverage layer when it comes to the pricing structure within your rental business, because it's the biggest revenue lift and it's the most ignored. So you gotta have a 90-day forward event calendar. What goes on in the next 90 days, and how early do you wanna bump your rates, right? 60 to 90 days out is when you're going to want your rates already bumped. So if you're bumping your price 60 to 90 days out, early booking customers, they're not price sensitive, okay? They are going to an event, they are more worried about actually getting a car or getting a hotel or getting a flight. They don't care how much they have to pay. And so whatever's available at that time, they're going to book it, right? They might go with the cheaper options first, but those options are going to book out. And those cheaper options are the people that don't plan for events like this. And that is why they're missing out on a ton of money. So at the end of the day, you are going to get booked during these events as long as you position yourself correctly, right? And then there's a local intelligence advantage. Out of market operators, they don't know what you know. And so you have the upper hand. You're local. You know exactly when to avoid certain areas at certain times of year. And usually those areas to avoid are the areas that are making a lot of money because there's a lot of people there, right? And so those are all things you have to consider when you're the person that's operating within the market. You know the market, you're local, and you're building a business in that local area, right? So, when I was running my exotic car rental in San Diego, for example, we always raise our rates during Comic-Con. Comic-Con weekend is fully booked, right? There's so many people coming from out of town, and these people, they have a lot of money to spend. There was also a thing called Fast Lane Drive, right? Exotic is a little bit more niche, but this is just a good example. Fast Lane Drive is essentially a car club. People pay a membership. You have to be an exotic car owner, and these people have tons of money. And a lot of people travel from out of town for these events, and so they can't bring their cars. So they're renting supercars. And we would be fully booked, and usually we had way more overflow during these events. So we would raise our prices because why not? Another thing would be, let's say it's peak baseball season and you've got the playoffs or something like that, right? With the Padres, people are coming to town for that, right? The Del Mar County Fair in San Diego, for example, which is the huge county fair that millions of people go to every year. And you need to be raising your price during this because people are coming from all over. They're coming from Riverside County. They're traveling a couple hours, driving, flying, whatever it is for these types of events. You need to make sure that you're capitalizing on these events, not keeping your rates the same. And a lot of operators actually do that. So you really have to be aware of the revenue impact that an event like this can bring to your business, because there are places, I have people that I work with in my one-on-one mentorship, for example. I'm not gonna spill their secrets, right? But there's a place, for example, on the East Coast that during the summer, it's really, really high demand for Jeeps. And I have an operator, he sends cars out there. Regular Jeeps are renting for $300 a day, and they're rented for the whole month for like 3 or 4 months. And I've talked to an operator from Alaska, right? They make all of their money in 3 months for the whole year, but they make really good money. And so those are just examples of when you really need to utilize this pricing dynamic and be really, really smart about the way that you price your vehicles, because it can make a huge impact for your business and it can really boost your bottom line, and it can make a clear distinction between the people that are going to make it in this business and the people that are not. So before I move on, really quick, pricing comes up on almost every single one-on-one call that I do with my students, and it's usually the easiest win in the entire business. So if you want me to look directly at your pricing, the first link in the description is where you can book a call with me. Other than pricing, we cover everything else too. We go over operations, fleet acquisition, scaling, and all of it. Next, I want to talk about dynamic pricing tools and automation. So you can spend a lot of your time trying to do your own market research when it comes to pricing, but there are a few useful tools that are going to save you hours of time, and we all know time is money, right? So there are some automated pricing tools that you can use to your advantage. Well, Turo is actually the biggest one, right? Whether you're using Turo directly or not, Turo has dynamic pricing embedded. Now, you should know dynamic pricing on Turo can be inaccurate. And so you have to do some of your own market research and kind of play around and get the knowledge over time. But when we're talking about Turo and using tools for Turo, there's a browser extension called rentscout.io that I like to use. And you can pull up all of the data from Turo. The reason I like to refer to Turo is because Turo has exotic cars, luxury cars, cheap economy cars, mid-level. It has every kind of car you can imagine, right? And so when we're using rentscout.io, the data is going to show you the demand, it's going to show you the pricing, it's going to show you when the peak seasons are, when the low seasons are, which cars do well, which cars don't, and rough pricing for your market. What it doesn't account for is Turo fees. So you can always expect that the data that you see on RentScout is not super accurate. It's usually less than you can actually make if you're in the private car rental market, not using Turo, right? But if you're using Turo, obviously this is super accurate information. Another thing you have to know is when you're using a software like RentScout or any other analytical tool, is it does not account for host nuances or technicalities, meaning, one host, it might be a side hustle for them, or they don't care to charge a certain price, or they don't have their trip preferences set correctly, they don't have good photos, and so their profile may not maximize, right? I typically outperform most, if not all, hosts in my markets, and they don't have the same tools or knowledge that I have. And so it becomes kind of a different situation, but they are great analytical tools, and you can use tools such as rentscout.io or anything similar to kind of price your market. And now with AI, you can build AI agents, and there's actually softwares as well where you can pull different data from different companies, and they're gonna give you the kind of pricing that you should charge, but you should always be able to manually override it if you're using a software to price your calendar. So if you have a software like this, there's many of them out there. Now, I actually have one of my clients building one. Essentially, you need to be able to automatically have pricing 80% of the time set. And then for high value moments, you're gonna be able to manually override this type of pricing. And as AI continues to develop, I'm sure that pricing is gonna become a lot more automated, but us humans, we're always gonna be smarter than AI, at least for the near future. And so you need to be able to manually override the price and see for yourself where the performance can actually be, improved. So the principle around it is that the tools are not as important as the systems behind it. You still have to understand rentals. You still have to understand your market, your local knowledge, and things that tools and AI are just not going to pick up for you. So here's the pricing review cadence, right? Daily, you should do a quick 7 to 10 day forward look and be constantly making micro adjustments if you're not meeting your utilization goals, but also without lowballing your price too much, right? Then weekly, you should do a 30-day look ahead, looking at seasonal transitions. Monthly, you should be doing a full pricing audit, comparison to the market and competitors within your market or nearby markets. And then quarterly, you need to be doing strategic reviews, check out your fleet mix, repricing your decisions, because let's be real, your fleet mix is going to change based on demand. And that's going to be, if you run with the same fleet for many, many years, the chances are that you're also missing profit, right? And so you have to determine what that looks like. And you want to do that kind of on a quarterly basis to get a good idea and so you don't fall behind. You need to also get a realistic estimate of the total hours that is going to require for you to do pricing, that is going to go into each vehicle and to each business model, and how that all plays out in your bottom line, because that's super, super important. The last thing you want to do is be working for below minimum wage in your own business. I also do have a video when we're talking about Turo versus private rentals and what the major differences are. You can see that on my channel. This is for operators who want to go a lot deeper into this, especially when we talk about pricing and financial outcomes, such as your bottom line and your profitability, because when you're doing Turo versus private rentals, there's a huge difference. So that's the pricing system. Calculate your real base rate so that you know your floor, stack your demand layers on top with weekends, seasonality, and event premiums, build a 90-day event calendar and price ahead of the demand. Also, use dynamic pricing tools for daily mechanics, but keep the manual override for the high value moments. Run a daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly review cadence to keep your systems tight. Apply this and you're going to be ahead of 95% of the operators in your market just on pricing alone. That gap shows up in your revenue every single month. Not in 2 years, not someday. It's going to show up this month. So if you want to go deeper, I built a free course, completely free, that breaks down everything that goes into running a real car rental business. Pricing is just one piece of it. The course is going to cover the rest, such as fleet acquisition, operations, vetting, scaling, literally all of it. It's completely free and you can find it here on the screen. So go and watch that. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it and you found some value here, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you in the next video.